Well, hello, my crafting friends. I am Melissa Kerman of Melissa's Crafting Treehouse, and welcome to my treehouse and to some fun paper crafting this evening. I have a bunch to cover tonight. 4 projects made with the Calming Camellia Stamp Set, and I've got a bunch of announcements. 2 weeks ago when I went live last, I had no announcements at all, and I'm making up for lost time today. So I have a bunch to share. I've sort of accumulated a bunch of things that I want to talk to you about. So hopefully that won't scare you away. You'll stick around and hang out with me, because not only do I have the projects to share, but I want to share with you some of the things that I've been playing with lately. So what does that mean? Well, I've been creating like crazy. So and having a blast with some of the new products in the mini catalog. Much of my goal with that is trying to prepare ideas for my upcoming technique classes. I do technique classes every other month. I'm going to be talking about that in a bit. But I have created a ton of stuff, decided on my classes for the next 3 classes, first half of 2022. Plus some. So anyway, I'm going to just show you some little snippets to entice you and get you excited maybe to participate in either my technique classes or I may be doing some product-based classes as well. So lots of things to share today. So sit back, fasten your seatbelt and let's go. All right. Hi, Wendy. Yay, I see people joining. Oh, and you stayed awake for me. Or for us, or for crafting. I know it's late for you, so I'm so glad that you were able to stay awake for today. So I've got a bunch of things to do. So I've got some announcements. I've got a prize winner from 2 weeks ago for our hashtag More Love winner. And then announcements, projects. Okay, I've already told you all that stuff. Okay, so good. So let's go ahead and get started with the announcements. So, I guess first I want to just tell you a little bit about oh yay, Tracy, you're here. I'm so glad. I'm so glad you made it. Wonderful. All right. So yes, so I want to share some like personal businessy things just for one little snippet. So I have a goal this year, and it's a goal that I'm really hoping to achieve, and it is the Baltic Sea incentive trip. Now, I've earned 5 incentive trips in the past. Super excited to have gone to Alaska and Greece and Hawaii, and anyway, so amazing, right? But the Baltic Sea, my husband is super excited about, more excited than probably any of them, second to Alaska, so I really, really, really want to earn this trip for him. And the truth is, I am not on track to earn it. It's been kind of a slow year, and I got to be honest with you, I really don't like sales. I am not a salesperson. I love to craft. I love to share what I create. I want you to come along on my journey, finding creative bliss and sharing you creative things. So that being said, I have to focus a little bit more on sales if I'm going to get this dang Baltic Sea trip. So you guys are going to probably be hearing me, with a couple of things that I'm asking of you to try to encourage and hope I get some sales so I can earn that trip, right? Yes, and Tracy, Alaska is really beautiful. I would go back to Alaska in a heartbeat. Anyway, so I'm going to tell you some other things that you can do. So I'm asking for your support of me, of my business. I know. I love that you're here. And you can support my business in all kinds of ways. Sharing the post, sharing with friends, inviting them to do the things that I offer in the way of classes and whatnot. So there's lots of different ways that I invite you to help me earn that incentive trip. Okay, let's see what else. Now, I should also say, you guys know, I don't do this because of the money, right? I do this because I love the craft and I'm addicted and I can't stop. And I love sharing with all you guys. So anyway, moving right along. Okay, so the first thing, the offer that I have, and it was in my newsletter yesterday, I'm going to do a little Calming Camellia offer, okay? So this stamp set is the stamp set that you can get when you host a party and your party gets to $300. Now, not everybody wants to spend $300 and not everybody wants to host a party. I have an extra one of these. And for every party that I put in, I get another one, right? I don't need more than one. I want to share the love. I'm going to give them to you guys. So what I'm doing is I'm calling it hashtag Camellia offer. And you get entries in a variety of ways. So one of the ways is simply post in this group, comment, hashtag Camellia offer. Actually, hashtag Camellia. I think that's what I wrote on here. Oh no, Camellia offer. So Camellia has 2 L's in it. I didn't know that. So hashtag Camellia offer gets you 1 drawing entry. You get 2 drawing entries if you spend $25 in product in my online store using my host code. 3 entries if you spend $50. Some of you'll be tempted, right, to go to $50 because it's Sale-A-Bration, so you get a free thing for Sale-A-Bration if you do that. 4 entries if you spend $75. 5 entries if you spend $100. And 6 entries if you spend $150. So I will give away all of the Calming Camellia sets that I earn based upon people's purchases. So I know some of you, many of you are demonstrators, your own demonstrators. I understand if you don't want to purchase through me, but maybe, maybe you'll want to just because you're getting entered into the possibility of getting this free stamp set. So here I go. That's my little spiel, right? Looking for those sales, right? So that I can work towards getting this incentive trip. Unabashedly asking for your support. All right, so the other things you get when you order through me, no matter what the order size, you get a free Simple Sweet Stampers tutorial bundle. Everybody gets that. And you would get that in your the thank you email you receive from me. And then, of course, when you get to different levels like 100, 150, you get more Sale-A-Bration items. At 150, you get host rewards as well. So there's lots of fun perks. And then if you spend 50 or more through me, in addition to the Simple Sweet Stampers tutorial bundle, I also give you an extra gift that you get to pick. There's some consumable products, embellishments and whatnot that I give to people who order $50 or more from me using the host code. So make sure you got to use the host code. All right, so that's number 1 announcement. Number 2, I have already announced and updated the MAKER'S MOJO Creative Escape for April, right? So we just did one. It was, well, I might say so awesome, right? We did a survey, we got feedback. Several people said it was the best one yet. I loved everything that everybody did. It was an amazing event. I am selling the after the live event. It's $45, same price as you would pay if you attended the event. It was a live event in Facebook, but you get all the same, not necessarily being in the Facebook group. And you get it as an instant download because all the videos and the PDFs are already. So just know that the MAKER'S MOJO After the Live is available. There's links in the more going on now in every blog post that I'm putting out, in my newsletter. I think I had a link. Anyway, so I'll put links in the description as well, so you know. All right, so the next MAKER'S MOJO Creative Escape, and these are amazing events, 5 presenters, 10 presentations, 10 PDF tutorials, 10 videos, lots of fun in advance of the event. We did lots of door prizes and prizes for participation. It was a ton of fun. Anyway, obviously I love it. So the event that's coming up is in April. So it's not until April 23rd, but you can register now if you want to, believe it or not. All the registration links are active, and it's the first option if you go to events on my website. So that's way number 2 that you can support me and my business and keep me crafting and sharing with you guys, is to register for MAKER'S MOJO. The other thing is, if you're a team member and you are a new team member, you get the first MAKER'S MOJO free, no questions asked. After that, you have to meet certain criteria to earn it. And the criteria are not like big, too lofty goals, or just a little bit stretch goals for you. But yeah, so my team can earn it for free. I already have several who have already earned it in this quarter. So yay, team. I love my Treehouse Chicks. That's the name of my team. All right, next up, technique classes. Okay, so I do them every other month. Now, I have to read you a quote because they sort of speak to what my technique classes are. And that is, I must be a mermaid. I have no fear of depth and a great fear of shallow living. This is Anais Nin. So, and I might not be saying that right, but I must be a mermaid. I have no fear of depth and a great fear of shallow living. So I love this quote. My yoga teacher shared it with me this morning. And I mean, when it comes to life in general, I think I'm deep, right? I want to go deep. I want to make connections that are you know, that are deep and strong and real with other human beings. But when it comes to my technique classes, I also go, I keep getting this trying to reconnect. So hopefully I'm not cutting out too much here. But anyway, so my technique classes are a deep dive into one particular technique. And I do multiple projects with that same technique, variations on the technique or different stamp sets. So it's really a lot of fun. I think it's a lot of fun. So I'm announcing the topics for the next 3 classes, and I'm the February class, April class, and June class. And the February class is actually going to be the live online class is going to be the beginning of March. I'm running a little bit late in my schedule this month because I've been creating like crazy, trying to figure out the projects. So anyway, I will announce the date. You can participate live or watch the replay. So either is fine. I pretty much think I have it on my calendar for March 3rd is what I want to say. It's a Thursday, actually. It's one of my off nights for Facebook Live. So how do you share this live, please? Can somebody comment and respond to that? Because I know there's a share button, but I'm not seeing it because I'm just seeing it. So Tracy, maybe somebody in the that's joined us will point you in the right direction. And thank you for wanting to share it. All right. And you can share it whether you're on YouTube or on Facebook. So that's a good thing too. So you guys watching out on YouTube, watching the replay, feel free to do that also. Okay. So techniques. So February or the beginning of March class is the black ice technique. Now some of you guys know this is a technique that I came up with, experimented and came up with it with my mom, who is now 92 years old. So it was a couple years ago that we came up with it. And I love this technique, and I've just been motivated to play with it again and reuse it and use it with some of the new stamp sets. So I'm really excited about the class in February, or the February class, I should say. April is going to be kissing variations, okay? So you guys might have heard of the kissing technique, but I've been playing with a bunch of different fun things, and it's going to be really fun. So, and, you know, kissing, how can you go wrong, right? Kissing with your mouth, kissing with your stamps, whatever. Kissing is all good, right? Okay, and then in June, we're going to do, I'm calling it sticky fun with adhesives. I've done some serious fun playing with lots of different kinds of adhesives, and it's not how to attach things. I'll just say that. It's going to be a lot of fun. So hopefully you guys will join in. Okay, so reasons to take these amazing classes. Those of you who've taken them, comment and share. It's, of course, you're learning a technique. If you may be learning a new technique, or you may be doing a refresher, but you're doing new projects with new products. So you can take the class because you want to learn a technique, or you may know the technique and just want to make a various projects with that technique. So again, it's a deep dive, and I always do variations of all sorts, different papers and whatever. So lots of reasons to take the classes. Now, the deadline this month to sign up for the February class, the Black Ice Technique class, is the 20th of February. And it's also the deadline to sign up for technique clubs and subscriptions. I only offer the club and subscription option twice a year because the subscription lasts the 3 classes of the first half of the year. And then you can sign up for another subscription for the second 3 classes of the year. And then clubs can either be 3 classes or 6 classes long. The main differences between the two, clubs require a product purchase of $75, but you get the materials, the class materials, the kit, the project kits in the mail for free, no additional cost besides that purchase. So you're getting the class for free, plus you get the kits and the electronic materials when you do that. And again, you can do a 3 or 6 class club. At the end of your commitment in club, you actually get some free product from me. And it's more if you do a 6 class club versus 3 class club. Those details are all on my website. So let's see what else. And let's see, subscriptions are if you don't want to buy from me, and you want to do more of a fee-based option where you're just paying me a class fee. This is a way that I try to cater to other demonstrators, right? Because I know some of you, you're a demonstrator, you don't want to buy products through me. So I get that. So you can do an electronic only class as a subscription, or you can do the option with kits and the electronic materials. And it's a set of 3 classes. So those options are all open until Sunday, February 20th. So come on and join us. It's a lot of fun. We do an event on Zoom. You can join through Zoom and show your face. You can join through Zoom and not show your face. You can watch the live stream in the Facebook group and you'll have access to that video. And then I do a very in-depth PDF, varying lengths depending on what the technique is. Now I've typically done 2 PDFs in the past, but I'm now combining them into one just to make it a little bit simpler. So it covers all the projects, the dimensions, the supplies, and then the tutorial portion has step-by-step instructions with photographs. The last one, probably the longest one I've ever done, watercolor techniques, the class that was whenever, I guess it was December, it was, oh my gosh, it was 46 pages long. I don't know how to, like I said, deep dive, right? We did a bunch of different techniques and I had a lot of photographs. So anyway, I hope you'll join in. It's a lot of fun. All right, so we're finally going to get to the project, I promise, or the projects, I should say. But before we do that, let's announce, I want to announce the hashtag More Love winner. So let's see, grabbing my projects over here. So if you joined in last time, 2 weeks ago, we made these wonderful, fun watercolor cards. And I did several different versions. And I did a post asking people what their favorites were, just because I was curious. And you guys told me your favorites in the Facebook Live last week. Well, it was, a lot of people, various people liked the white versions, right? You might not have seen all of these because I finished them off camera. That one has dry embossing on it, but I did put it in the post. But pretty much the majority liked the 2 that were black, mostly because they showed up more in a more pronounced way. Anyway, the winner is, drum roll please for myself, Penny, and I'm going to say it wrong probably, Kosaro Chilcutt. I know Penny well, but I don't know how to pronounce her name. Penny is a technique class participant, in fact, and usually she watches these videos, although I have not seen her name flash across the screen. But Penny, you are the winner, and you'll get to receive one of those cards that I just shared, and I'll either let me know whether you prefer a white version or the black version, or I'll try to find what you said in your post when you commented. So yes, yay Penny. All right, you guys ready for projects? Of course you are. And just remember, stick around to the end because I am going to show my pile of sort of pieces and parts and projects in process. It's going to be kind of like a quick sneak peek of some of the projects for technique classes, for maybe some of the product-based classes. I haven't totally decided how it's all going to filter out. But anyway, it should be really fun to show you these, a little tour. So I'm going to face the camera down and we will get started with the stamping portion. All right. So, and just so you know, if you ever watch the replay, I always, in my blog posts, I tell people when the project presentation starts, just because, not everybody's interested in all the announcements that I'm so passionate about. All right, so beautiful stamp set, right? So Calming Camellia. So if you comment hashtag Camellia offer, you'll get 1 entry into the drawing to get one of these for free. And again, for I have 1 to give away already, but after that, I will base others that I give away based upon every $300 in orders that I get. So, and that goes through, I'm pretty sure I said the 20-something of February. And I'm going to leave it at that because I don't want to say the wrong thing. But it's in my newsletter if you're a newsletter subscriber. So for today's projects, we're going to be using Calming Camellia mostly. And then I've also brought in a sentiment from this Celebrating You, which is a brand new set that I just got. And I wanted to use lots of love, right? Because, hey, it's almost Valentine's Day, so figured that would be a fun thing to do. So I'm going to show you the first card, and we are using this amazing paper. This is part of the, what's it called? Crane, now it's just slipping my creative fortune, something of fortune. Symbols of fortune. Symbols of fortune, it came to me. Paper. So I don't know if you can see this paper, but it is just beautiful. I think it's called Mother of Pearl. Mother of Pearl paper. So this is kind of another star of the show, shall we say. And we're going to be playing with a bunch of different things, or well, a few different things with this paper. And this is the project that I showed for a sneak peek on the post for this project. Now, this is a super simple project. And so I wanted to do this one and then show you some other variations because I've been playing with this quite a bit. So let's get started with the first one. And so grab some paper here. Keep that hashtag in view. Symbols of Fortune. Yes, it's a beautiful suite. And I'm going to grab just one piece of this paper. Bring the camera in here so you guys can see it. Is that not gorgeous? I just love it. So I'm going to use my jet black Stays On because I'm using a red rubber stamp. And the jet black is my favorite of the blacks when I'm using the red rubber because it tends to be a much darker black. Now, the other reason to use the black on this project is, if you can't tell, this is a slick surface, right? It's, you know, a little bit sort of plasticky, non-porous. So that's also the reason you really have to use Stays On. The Magenta will probably just sit on the surface because it's water-based ink, and it will rub off. Okay, so I'm going to justify this slightly up because I want to be able to put my sentiment down at the bottom. Because it's slick, I want to be really careful about stamping it and not letting it slide with any foils or plastic, the window sheets, or this type of paper. Anything with a non-porous surface, the stamp can tend to slide. So pressing it firmly, but not so much that it slides. Ooh, is that not gorgeous or what? Beautiful, right? I love it. Love it, love it, love it. Now, this is going to take a few minutes to dry on the surface. So I'm going to go ahead and set it aside. And suffice it to say, I'm going to be using that focal piece for something else. Now, I'm just going to quickly talk through the rest of this card. So, super simple card, right? I pretty much did all there was to do in this card except for stamp the sentiment and attach it to its piece. This is attached to a black piece. These two are attached together, and it's put on the card. Now, I don't know if you can tell, but the paper is the shimmer white, so it's a slightly off-white. And I don't think you can see the shimmer in the camera. I don't know, but it's beautiful, subtle paper. Can you guys see it? This is shimmer white paper. So it just goes really nicely with both the image and this gorgeous Mother of Pearl paper. So super simple, right? So I have to take you on a journey here. So, and this is sort of what I like to do with technique classes. I take you on a journey of how I came up with whatever I came up with and why. So I was looking at this going, okay, this is a slick surface. What can I do with that? Maybe I could use alcohol markers on it like you do on vellum, right? So that was my little brainstorm. So I went off on a tangent trying to play with all kinds of things. And that brings me to the second project that I'm going to do. Now, I'm not going to actually, on this one, use the Mother of Pearl paper because I just want to show you the technique on some vellum. And then we'll go from there because I want you to see how this one is made. So, I know I'm kind of jumping, but this is what made logical sense to me, is to do it this way. So I'm going to go ahead and stamp my image again onto the vellum. And again, vellum is a somewhat slick, non-porous surface, so the Stays On is a really good ink for vellum. And same thing, it might slip or move if I'm not careful. So, and of course I can't see the outline of that, which makes me crazy. I have a colored piece of paper, but oh, I know what I'll do. I'll just go like this, and then I'll be able to see the outline. So I like to put a colored piece of paper or something colored in behind, because otherwise you can't really see where you're stamping if it's white on white. You have 2 packs of vellum, Kimmy. Yeah, vellum is wonderful. All right, so got that stamped. I promise I'm going to get back to that pearlescent paper, I promise. And then what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to turn it over, because if I start playing with alcohol on this image, and it looks really pretty on the vellum, doesn't it? Just like it is. Wow, I like that. It's so soft. Anyway, because if I put alcohol on this surface, it's going to, the whole thing's going to just get all big muddy mess. So I'm going to turn it over. And because the vellum is clear, we're going to see what we want to see on here. It's going to come through the paper. So for those of you who have not seen the vellum with alcohol markers, you're going to love it. It's just so much fun. So I've got my Night of Navy dark, and I'm just going to start doing swatches of color. And I'm mostly going to stay away from, the flower, because the flower is going to have its own thing going on. And I do want to go a little bit over the image where the leaves are, right? Because I would like to have some green in there. But I'm mostly keeping the colors where they, where they belong. And blue for the sky is what I had in my head. And green for the ground. And we're going to do a different color for the image itself. So on some paper towels here. And now I'm going to grab a water painter. And I have some isopropyl alcohol, 99%. You can also use 91%. And I've put it into this little recycled embellishment container. I've got several wells because I don't want to mix my colors. These ones don't matter so much, but when I do some of the other colors later, you don't necessarily want to mix them. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and just start applying some alcohol to my alcohol ink on there. You can see it starts sort of blending and moving. Okay, and then I'm going to do my green. How many people have done this technique? Just curious. Yeah, I think the 99% is ideal. And do keep in mind, if you use the alcohol, you see how it's kind of moving on there? It's really kind of fun. And then it dries in a fun way as well. If you use your alcohol, just make sure you can't leave it sitting out for an extended period of time, because it will evaporate and lose its strength. All right, so next thing I'm going to do on the back side is I'm going to use my alcohol markers, and I'm kind of on a Magenta Madness, I don't know, madness kick. I am just loving this. This is a color that's going to be going away. It's a 2020, 2022 in color. And I just suddenly fell in love with this pink. I'm not generally a pink person, but if I'm going to like pink, it's going to be a bold pink. And this is definitely a bold pink. And it's also a very purple-ish kind of pink. So that's kind of more my style than a baby pink. So basically, I'm just coloring it in from the back side, and it's pretty forgiving because, let's see, just doing my flowers. Okay. And then I'm going to do the same thing with the leaves as I, just to color in all the leaves. This takes a little bit of time to dry. You can see the ink's moving around and, changing. You can also take a heat tool and dry it to kind of move it along so you're not going to get your hands on it. I'm not doing that all the way. And I'm just going to show you what the front looks like, sort of partially done. Now I have one that's done, so I'm going to show you the one that's done of this, using this particular method. So this is the one that I have finished, and I did exactly what I just described, coloring it on the back. But in addition to coloring it on the back, I did take my Blends alcohol marker and I did a little bit of careful touch-ups. Well, actually, did I do it on the front? I can't remember if I did on the front. Yeah, I think I did a little bit on the front. I risked, affecting that StazOn on the front, but I just wanted some accents so that I'd have some depth in that flower. I did some on the back as well. So that is the focal piece that I'm going to put together this card. And I've just got a card base that's the Magenta Madness and a piece of white with dimensionals on the back. And lost the connection. I hope I wasn't gone for too long. That seems to be happening. And this one I've already attached. So I've already got my white on there with the dimensionals. And I've put some glue dots on the back side of this one in strategic spots where it's really dark and where the glue won't show through. And it's just going to get attached right in the center of the white. Nice subtle little white edge. And there we have the first part. And then the next thing I'm going to do is put a sentiment on here. Now, there's some great sentiments in the Calming Camellia set. And I've used the You Make Me Smile, which I really like, and the Happy Birthday. It's just a lovely little happy birthday. And that was on the original card. And I put this white piece onto a piece of shaded spruce. I played around with other colors, like doing pink or, but it just didn't look right. I felt like the green was the right color. So I'm just going to mount this so it's centered right at the bottom of the stem, maybe a tiny bit lower. And it is also flat on the card. And there we go. Little touch of white on the outline, and then that piece there. So there is card number 1 and card number 2. So let's move on to the next one. All right, so this one, we're going to get back to our piece of Mother of Pearl. How's everybody doing out there? I think the stamp set is amazing too, Sally. Oh, I'm glad you liked that card. Well, we got 2 more to go. So super fun. Okay, so I just gotta get all my parts and pieces out over here. Okay, 1 second. Okay, so I played around with doing that alcohol technique on this paper, and it didn't quite work out as I had expected, so I was a little bit disappointed. This is the piece that I created. It actually doesn't look bad, but what was happening, and I don't know if you can tell this here, but it's like there was a plastic surface on there that was coming off because of the alcohol. So I wanted to find a solution to that, and this card, the one we're about to do, was the solution to it. So again, I've got my jet black StazOn, so I can't start putting alcohol on the surface. So what I decided I would do is I'm going to cover the whole surface, and hopefully this is totally dry rather, with Versamark, okay? So that's what we're going to do. I'm creating a seal. Now, one of the things that I learned in the process of actually doing the black ice technique is that when something is heat embossed, you can apply the alcohol inks to the heat embossed surface and the color shows up. So this is what I decided to try, is to create that non-porous surface by heat embossing the surface of my focal piece. So this is just clear embossing powder. And I am going to go ahead and heat this, so I'm going to make some noise. So really didn't need the embossing buddy, right? Because it's covering the whole surface. So, and I just noticed that I just knocked off a little bit off the edge. So give me 1 second. I want a total coverage, smooth surface on there. I usually try to do my heat embossing ahead of time, but I wanted you guys to get the full experience of all the layers of this so you'd really understand what I was trying to show. Yeah, you're surprised that heat embossing worked? Yeah, it doesn't seem to be a problem at all. I would think that if there was, in fact, a plasticized surface there, that it would have melted it, but I haven't had a problem with it. So if I told you that I had heat embossed that, you probably wouldn't even be able to tell the difference, right? I mean, if you look carefully, you can sort of see a little bit of texture in there. But it's now going to give me a sealed surface, so I can do that next thing, which is to play with the alcohol markers. Now for this one, I'm going to play with Pumpkin Pie, Daffodil Delight, and the Magenta Madness. Now this is kind of a crazy color combination, very bright and bold, but that's part of what makes it fun. So, and of course the surface is sealed. So for this one, instead of being all, you know, having all the color in the same place, I'm going to mix it up and do some of each color in different spots. Now, normally I would recommend you start with the lightest color. I just forgot. It's good to do that because I don't really want to get my orange on the yellow. So now I just have to be careful. Careful about not touching my yellow marker to the orange. And I always like to do the most of the lightest color, and that's because it tends to fade into the background because it gets overpowered by the darker colors. Now, this magenta is definitely the darkest of the three. So bright and bold, this crazy pink color. I have this habit when things are retiring. I have to use them because, you know, before it's too late. Just got to do it. Okay, here is my water painter again. And I'm not squeezing out the water. In fact, there is no water in here, by the way. I'm just using the alcohol. So let's go ahead. This is a good example of where I don't want to contaminate the colors. So I'm using a well, you know, so I don't get the blue that I used before, or the green, in with these colors. It's a totally different color palette. So I'm just going over each individual color. And next I'm going to do my orange. And I can have the colors touch, of course. I'm going to do most of the touching of the colors when I get to the pink. And there's my last orange. All right, let's do the pink now. See how strong that pink is. Crazy, man. Crazy bright pink. All right, so I want the colors to have a little bit more, to blend a little bit. So here's another thing you can do, is I like to keep some alcohol in a spray bottle. So I'm going to spray it. It's going to change it, and that's okay. I'm good with that. Just going to move it around a little bit more, help the colors blend a little bit. You just don't want to be breathing in when you do that, because you don't want to be breathing in sprays of alcohol. Okay. All right, so then that's gotta dry. And then I'm also going to color in my flowers. Now, I would probably go ahead and dry this. I'll just do, I'm going to. And then I'm going to show you my finished one, just to move things along. Okay, so there we are so far. Obviously, I haven't colored it in carefully or anything, but it's going to get colored in all the way. So let's back. Yes. Oh my gosh, it disappeared for a minute there. Okay, so there are a couple more steps to do with this one. So once I finish coloring it in, there's one other thing I need to do, because one thing that happens sometimes with the alcohol markers on here is it dulls the surface of anything that's heat embossed. So what I did for my final version, this one here, is I covered the whole thing with Versamark again, and I heat embossed again with my clear to sort of bring back the shine. You can't tell the difference between these two because this one is still wet, and of course I haven't finished the flowers, but I've colored in the flowers with the Magenta Madness, pretty solid. I tried to do some highlighting, but it was kind of a little harder to do it with the heat embossing over the top. And there's my final focal piece. So let's put that one together real quick. And then I've just got one more after this. Hope you guys are finding this to be interesting and fun. I'm using my Magenta Madness card base again. And yeah, I know, is this not just like, it's crazy, right? It's so bright and bold. So bright and bold. Okay, I got a piece of black cardstock. It's got adhesive on the back side already. Just going straight onto my card base. And I did cut these all to be 4 1/4 by 11. You need an inside piece. It's a naked inside. And then that's got adhesive on the back side as well. It's nice and smooth. I can run my fingers over there. I don't have to worry about it rubbing anything because I got that whole extra layer of heat embossing over the top. And then, as I mentioned, I'm using the Lots of Love from that Celebrating You set in honor of Valentine's Day being right around the corner. And of course, this one is, you know, it's all pink. You know, you don't think of orange with Valentine's, but the pink for sure. So I thought that would be a nice element on this one. It's so pink and bold. Who loves pink? Anybody else liking this Magenta Madness? I know it's not necessarily a lot of people's go-to, but now because this is a heat embossed surface, I might actually need to use some liquid glue to get it to stick more permanently, but I'm just going to use the adhesive I have on there for now. Oh my gosh, it's so bright and bold. It's almost blinding. Yeah. Well, okay, so I'm going to show you another option that I had for my sentiment, because I'm not sure that I think it's too much pink. So let's try this and see what you guys think. This was actually the one I was originally going to use. The You Make Me Smile, okay, and it's done. This is a piece of vellum that has some shaded spruce on it. I want you guys to tell me which one you prefer. And then I have a piece of white behind the vellum so that you'll be able to see the sentiment well, and then a piece of black behind that. So this was the original plan, was to do this sentiment on here. So I think it sort of softens it just a little bit because it brings out some of the green. What do you guys think? Should I do the pink or should I do the green? I think you know which way I'm leaning. I might need to use my pink one for the other version that I do. Oh, you love that card, Mary Beth? I'm so glad to know. Oh, you think definitely the pink? Okay, other people, chime in. Are you on Sally's side or on my side? Just kidding, just kidding. Yeah. Oh, Pam says pink too. Oh, you like the green better, Sue? Okay. Yeah, well, I'm just going to keep looking at the comments. Okay, so card number 3 down. Now, don't forget to do the hashtag Camellia offer if you want a chance for the Calming Camellia Stamp Set, and consider putting in an order of some size to get you more chances for entries into the drawing for Calming Camellia sets. All right, so where are we? Okay, project number 4. You guys ready for the 4th one? Okay. So now this one, I ended up using vellum, so we're going to try this a little different. And I'm going to bring all my wet supplies back in. Now, my first version of this card I did by stamping clear embossing powder on this piece of vellum. I decided I wanted to see what it looked like with a bolder white look. I'm going to show you the original version in just a minute. And I have, of course, heat embossed this ahead of time. So let's, I'm going to, for this one, because it's white heat embossed, if I go over it with the alcohol ink on the front side, then, oh, you don't notice the green leaves until the green sentiment. Yes, I think, I agree, Elizabeth. I think that's why I'm leaning towards the green, because it balances out a little bit more in my mind. Anyway, so I got the white image. If I do alcohol over this, it may very well absorb into the white. So I'm going to do my coloring on the back side, just like I did with that other one. And for this one, I'm going to use my Night of Navy and my Magenta. So this is going to be yet another variation. And for this one, I want my flowers to be the pink, but I also, let's see, okay, so I'm also going to be bringing in some green at some point, but let's do this. Remember how I actually did my first one. So for this one, I'm doing mostly the blue and the pink. Kind of being a little bit more conservative with my pink and going into my little well of alcohol over here. And we'll start mixing these. I'm going to do my blue. And then come in to get my pink. Making this a little bit softer. Now, the thing that I love about this blue and the pink is that it combines to make my favorite color, well, one of my favorite colors. I love color, so it's hard to say favorite, but it makes some purple. And I love purple. So I'm going to do a fair amount of mixing in here to make sure that some of my pink and my blues become purple. All right. Okay, now I'm going to color in. Now I probably need to dry this just a little bit so I can work with it. The alcohol will dry really fast. I'm using my heat tool on low setting. Okay. Hashtag reminder has to get moved up. I need more workspace. Or I should say play space. I think that's already dry, and you see how kind of soft it is. It softens the color as it dries. I just needed to blend that color just a little bit in there. Okay, so now I'm going to come in and actually color my flowers. And the hard part about this, I'm going to color the green leaves too, but I don't know how much it's going to show through. So one of the things that happens with heat embossing is the line of the image becomes thicker. So thicker than if you just stamp it with regular ink. For this image, it's a little bit potentially problematic because it's a distinctive stamp. And what that means is you lose a lot of that detail. So I'm not sure this one's going to come out very well. When I did the clear heat embossing, it somehow didn't matter. But with this one, I think it's going to matter. So now I'm going in to color in behind the green leaves. And a lot of the leaves are kind of obliterated because of the issue I just described. So I can't even tell where some of them are. Now I'm going to turn this over and see what it looks like. So you can see a little bit of the green through there, but I've lost a lot of the detail in my flower. I'm not even sure this is even worth finishing. But the one I did earlier is actually quite beautiful. So guess what? I'm going to compare the two. This has been a learning experience, as everything is when we're stamping, right? We learn something new each time. And so, like I said, I'm taking you on a little journey here because I decided I needed to experiment with the white, and, you know, that's not working out too well. But guess what? This other one that I made is just beautiful. So, save the day. So here is the version that I did. It's the same methods that I was doing here, but I did clear embossing powder over craft white ink. This was Versamark with white embossing powder. This was, again, craft white ink with clear embossing powder. So instead of becoming this big blobby mess, you can see the detail in the flower. So I did what I mentioned, which was I colored on the back side. You can see I got all that bright color on the back side, but it shows through the front in a really soft way. And then on the front, I did a few little accents, trying to stay away from the heat embossing, just to bring out a little bit of the darker color in the flowers. Oh, you love it? I love it too. I mean, unlike this one, right? But, you know, like I said, we learn by trying different things. So I'm going to go ahead and assemble this one because we've got to see how beautiful it is when it's done. And I'm going to do what I did before, where I'm going to put some glue dots in behind spots that are pretty dark. I'm just going to check and make sure. Yeah, you can't see anything back there. So I'm just going to liberally put glue dots here and there. I probably could even put it on the outside edges, but I probably don't need to. And then that's just going to get attached to my white piece. Got a nice, thin, delicate little edge there. And then my white piece has adhesive on the back. And then I've got a piece of gorgeous grape. That's going to be my layer that goes on here. I've got, dimensionals and adhesive sheeting in the back. Now, the backings are off of the dimensionals, but not off of the adhesive sheets. Now, I find that if I put it down with the foam adhesive sheets and I don't do it properly, there's no pulling it back up. I have to bring out my magic undo, which is a pain in the butt. So I'm only pulling back those pieces part of the way. And, oh, it looks like an amoeba. Which does? Oh, this does? The white one? Tell me if that's what you mean, Melissa. I think that's what you probably mean. Okay, so I'm just putting on my gorgeous grape. Again, like I said, I love purple. And then I like the positioning of it. And then I can pull out the backings and press it down. So much better of a method. And then got adhesive on the back of my white. Just going to go ahead and attach that. And then I have one final touch on here. Now you could also add some other embellishments like gems or whatnot on any of these cards for the purposes of right now and keeping it pretty simple. Now, oh, here it is. Okay, so I took a piece of this lovely open weave ribbon. This is the Magenta Madness ribbon. Again, one of the ink colors that's retiring. And I also encourage you, I know it's early in the year. We have until sometime in May when this stuff retires. But as soon as it goes on the retiring list in April, it tends to go really fast. So if there's any of the ink colors that you really like, the 2022 colors, you should definitely jump on it and get them now. So, and this ribbon I love it. And the colors that are the lightest colors, what are they called? Pale papaya and, what's the light color? Oh, I can't remember. Anyway, the light colors, you can color on them with blends, which I love. So I've made a little air bow. You guys know my air bow method, right? 2 little tails, one over the other, wind it through, and then I grab my pencils, put them in the ears to, do the whole thing. So there you go. And I'm just going to put a glue dot on the back of my bow. And instead of using a sentiment on this one, this is all I'm going to do is my tiny little Adorable, cute bow. That makes me think of a little girl. What do you guys think? I love this. I love it. Love it, love it. I hope you guys do too. So let's bring the other cards back in. I'm going to bring this alcohol away so I don't accidentally spill it. And the embellishment I was thinking about adding to some of these are these iridescent rhinestone basic jewels. They've got lots of colors in them, which makes it super fun. So just an idea. Would you use them on this project? Okay, so let's bring in all 4 cards, and I'm going to need to take photographs of these. They'll be on my website. Now, the truth of the matter is, I love this simple plain card. I don't know about you guys, but I love it. And yet these ones are all really fun as well. And so that was my journey. This paper inspired me to try the alcohol technique, which brought me into trying the vellums and then the heat embossing. And yeah, you got the whole story. Super, super fun to play with all of that. Like I said, I've been a creating monster the last week or so. I didn't even do a newsletter last week. I was like, no, I'm just focusing on creating because I create in bursts. I don't... I have to have like a long stretch of time, which is hard because who has a long stretch of time, right? There's always work to do and business to take care of and all that, but it's the way I create the best, and then I get into a groove, and oh my gosh, creative bliss-o-mania. So the black and white is your favorite? That's all good, and black and white is your favorite? Yes, totally. I mean, and so freaking simple. These ones were far more complex, right? So you might not want to be bothered with the complexity. But yeah, it's between these, it's kind of hard for me to pick. I think I like the purple one the best, but then I really like that one. This one's just crazy bold. But anyway, they're all fun in their own right. If I say so myself. All right, so what's up next? I have those, my little creative sneak peeks that I want to show you. And then we will wrap up. So hope you'll want to stick around. So let's see. I'm going to move these guys away. So just so you know, I will be doing a blog post with the dimensions and supplies for all those projects. And so you can look for those. My goal is actually to put it on my blog tomorrow because I have something else that I need to publish over the weekend. So, but we'll see. Let's see what I manage to do. It's usually Saturday, but it may be a day early in case you're looking for it. Alrighty. So the other crazy things that I have done. So I want to start with this here because this is a total mess, okay? But this is a perfect example of a piece that, what is it called? The sacrificial lamb. I tried some things on, believe it or not, this is that mother of pearl paper. I hated it, right? So it was this initial image of the Calming Camellia image, stamped stuff up here. I was playing with, all kinds of crazy stuff. And then it was like, this is horrible. So then what I did was I started experimenting with doing different things. So this one, I swiped my black ink pad on there. And this one, I swiped my Versamark. And then I tried the alcohol markers on there. So this is my sacrificial lamb. It's like you have a piece like this that you're not going to use for anything. So why not use the paper to experiment and figure some things out? So that's what this is. Crazy, ugly looking thing, but it had its place in life. And then this is where my little green piece came on the bottom. This one I stamped in the craft white ink, and I had the alcohol background. And again, just like a total mess. You couldn't see the image at all because it just got lost in there. But again, just, the occasional like, okay, that didn't work out well. All right, so on to some sneak peek fun stuff. All right, so I mentioned one of the classes that's going to come up in June is playing with adhesives, or whatever I called it, crazy fun with adhesives. This is one focal piece or background piece that I created this with that idea in mind, and this is another one, crazy fun color. I'm not showing you the whole thing, and I'm showing it to you fast because it's really just supposed to be sneak peeks. This is like, that's a little bit of my kissing pieces. Just really fun with the Ranuncula set, which I adore. Quick sneak peeks of Black Eyes. This is actually the, what is it called? It's the Crane Season of Fortune, something of Fortune. I know I'm doing these really fast. And then that is a tarnished foil project that I played with just crazy. I love it. Pieces and parts left over. There's another little focal piece that I was messing with, the Crane of Fortune. And that, I don't know if you have any idea what that is. That's also with images from the Crane of Fortune. And that's the bottom of my pile. I have another one across the room. But those are my little sneak peeks for today. Hopefully I wasn't going too fast. But yes, I've been just a crazy, mad creator. Symbols of Fortune, yes. So yeah, so for the tarnished foil, I realized that, I'm turning me around, that I'm designing with all of these products that are in the mini catalog, and the technique classes are in, well, February, technically beginning of March, and April and June. And June, the mini catalog will be gone. So I don't know what's going to be in there. So it's a little bit challenging. So to pick something different for June, depending on what carries over. And I'm creating with all this stuff, and I got to be able to show it. I got to have places and opportunities to show it, whether Facebook Live or other things. So I may be doing some product-based classes. That one project that I just shared, the sneak peek of the tarnished foil, which I have not played with in ages, and I love that technique. So I've been playing with some new twists on it, and that project is one of them, using the embossing folders in the mini again. So, you know, I got to show it before it retires potentially in May. So yeah, so I have so much to share, so excited about it. If you guys don't know what the Impressions of Tarnished Foil is, it was my first and original made technique or whatever, or designed or named or whatever. And I have a video on YouTube showing it with another project, and it's over 100-something thousand views, the biggest viewers that I've had on any video. None of my other videos come close to that. Second to Black Ice, but I'm very proud of both of those techniques. So very fun to play with them again. Yeah, my hair grows so fast, right? I need a haircut again, don't I, Sally? All right. So yeah, so that is pretty much what I have to share today. The quick reminders: don't forget to do the #Camellia offer. Place an order and whatever size to get extra drawing entries to get that free set, a chance at the free set. And again, I'll give away as many as I earn based upon sales. I have just one right now to give away. That's extra. Let's see what else. Oh yes. So, and then technique classes. So don't forget to sign up for a subscription or a club, depending on what you're interested in. Do reach out to me if you have questions. I know it's kind of complicated. I offer lots of different options, but my goal is to offer something that works for all different needs of different people. So I'm happy to have a phone conversation with you if you're not sure what you're interested in. And I love having phone conversations with people. In fact, you know, some of the people who are my stamping friends out in the community, I know them better because we've had phone conversations and text message each other. And I just love that because, like I said, I'm like a mermaid. What is it? The quote was, I go deep and I don't live on the surface level, or whatever it was. I'm not very good at remembering the quote. But anyway, so what else do I have to remind you of? I told you when the blog post is going up. Let me just, or when I think it will. And the technique classes, don't forget to sign up for those. And you can sign up for Maker's Mojo in April if you want to be really on top of things. And I guess that'll do it. So I will be back in 2 weeks. February 24th is my next scheduled Facebook Live. So tune in for another fun paper crafting experience then. I'm so glad you loved the cards, Pam. Yay. All right, you guys have a wonderful evening, and I hope I've inspired you to create something. And we'll see you in a couple of weeks. Bye, everybody. Mwah. Thanks for tuning in.